federal government does not recognize any medical benefits for the drug.
And it believes there's a high risk of addiction. News 4's Jen Schatz continues her special report on how one doctor is trying to change that.
Earlier this month, I spent a few days with local Dr. Laszlo Mechler in Denver. I got access to one of the largest grow operations in the country, one the media has never been allowed into before. So why was a Buffalo doctor called to Denver? A cannabis giant there wants him to develop a standard medical brand for marijuana. It would be the first of its kind.
Recreational to us is just an access point.
Eric Spidel is the co-CEO of The Green Solution, a large cannabis company in Denver. He's enlisted the help of Buffalo doctor Laszlo Mechler to add medical expertise to his products. Mend would be the first of its kind medical brand marijuana line.
Recreational and medicinal product are no different in Colorado. If you were to ask anybody that is a licensee, they would tell you we grow medicinal plants next to recreational plants every day, and there's no difference between the two. The only difference is the tag that's on there.
Dr. Mechler is in the process of figuring out how best to administer the drug, through a vaporizer, edible, or capsule, for example.
The criticism of the New York program is it's very rigid and strict. I, in fact, like that because it's more physician controlled.
Here we have some grape stomper. This is our...
Dr. Mechler isn't really interested in the recreational side of cannabis, but there's a larger patient pool and more products to study here in Colorado. The knowledge Dr. Mechler gains in Denver, he'll bring back to Buffalo.
The unique merging of these companies, where you've got New York State, which has very limited conditions, very limited supply, but we can go to Colorado, which frankly the recreational market has somewhat overshadowed the medical market.
Mechler runs the Dent Cannabis Clinic in Amherst. When chronic pain was approved to be treated with medical marijuana, he saw an opportunity to curb a serious problem, opiate addiction.
After a while, opiates have a long list of side effects that patients do not like, and it affects their quality of life.
There's been studies to suggest medical marijuana cuts down on pain pill use. A new study looking at seniors substantiates what many doctors already assumed. According to the study published in Health Affairs, the typical physician in the 28 states where medical marijuana is legal prescribes significantly lower painkillers in a given year. The research was done at the University of Georgia, but only looked at prescriptions written under Medicare Part D from 2010 to 2013. Conducting thorough, comprehensive studies is hard when it comes to marijuana. Given the fact that this is federally illegal, how do you research it? How do you test it? The only studies Mechler can do in Western New York now are retrospective. Think of it as qualitative as opposed to quantitative. He doesn't claim medical marijuana will cure cancer. Its benefit, he says, is improving symptoms.
We see the patient, we offer a recommendation on what to take, and then when they come back for follow-up, then we have this data that we ask them to fill out. What was your diagnosis? What was your dosage? Did it help? If it helped, how much? What were your side effects? Did you have any side effects? Would you, tell me what the side effects are, how severe were that?
For a scientist, this method isn't ideal.
There's always the placebo effect, and for that reason, the medical community would always criticize retrospective studies. That's not pure science.
While the reins are in many ways looser in Colorado, the DEA still has the medical marijuana market in a deadlock until it's moved from the Schedule I list, which also houses LSD and heroin. To date, the DEA has only issued a single license for the cultivation of cannabis for medical research. For now, Mechler wants to conduct as many qualitative studies as he can in Colorado to get Mend on the shelves there and hopefully expand to other states, including one day New York.
It needs to be yesterday. I mean, there are patients that really need this product, so it's really incumbent upon us to get it out there quickly.
There are studies that caution medical marijuana use. A recent report from the National Academy of Science, Engineering, and Medicine found states with legalized medical marijuana have higher instances of kids accidentally ingesting the drug. Dr. Mechler's argument here is that the likely benefits of curbing opiate abuse outweigh those possible risks. He points primarily to the fact that marijuana has never been linked to a fatal overdose. For links to all of the studies mentioned in my story tonight, head to WIVB.com. In the studio tonight, Jen Shantz, News 4 at 11.